Hopefully I've got the right homework tonight. Sorry about that. So, as we were talking about in class, you're adding the whole number last. We're just going to add the fraction part first. So 3/4 and 7/8, you need to find that common denominator of 8. And then you can add your numerators together. And then you have to switch it, because this is, if you take 8 out of 8 out, so we subtract 8 up here. That leaves us, let's see, 8. That leaves us 5. And then we keep our denominator 8, and we've got 1 whole, 1 and 5/8 for that one. Okay, so add the fractions, and then you add the whole number. So I had 1 and 5/8, and now I add my whole number. 4 plus 1 is 5, and then when I add this 1 back, then I get 6 and 5/8. Okay, we're going to make this one, and we're finding an equivalent fraction, and we're going to make it 6/16 instead. And now I can add down. 15 plus 6 will give me 21, and we'll keep our denominator 16. We need to now change this, so we'll take out 16 so that we can get that whole number, and that leaves us with 5. So we get 5, and we're going to keep our denominator the same, 16. And now I can add my whole number. Remember, I took 16 out, so I've got that plus 1 over here. 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 and 5/16 on that one. This one, I'm going to change 1/2 to 4/8, just like we've been doing in class. Now if I add it up, I get 9/8. 9/8, if I rearrange that, I can take out 8/8, so I'm going to subtract 8, and I get 1 left over if I subtract 8, keep my denominator 8, and now I've got that 1 whole one to add. So I've got 8 plus 4, which is 12, plus another one is 13. So I've got 13 and 1/8 for that one. Next, I'm going to change 3/5. Remember how we do it in class? Multiply it by 2/2 and get 6/10. If I add numerators, 6 plus 7 is 13. And I get 13/10. I'm going to take 10 out of 10 out, so I get that whole number. So I'm going to subtract 10, and I get leftover 3. Keep my denominator the same. But since I took 10 out of 10 out, I've got 1 whole that I need to add in. So I've got 3 plus that whole makes it 4 and 3/10. This one I'm going to change 2/3 and multiply it by 3/3, get 6/9. And I add my numerators. 6 plus 8 is 14, 14/9. Let's rearrange it, take 9 out of 9 out. So if I subtract 9 from here, I get 5 left over. I'm going to keep my denominator 9. And remember now I took 1 out, so I need to add it in somewhere over here. 7 plus 4 plus 1 more. 11, 12. So I get 12 and 5/9 on that one. Let's change our 5/6 to something over 12. If we multiply it by 2/2, we get 10/12. I add down my numerators, and I get 17/12. Let's take a whole out, so I'm going to subtract 12. It leaves me with 5. I'll get 5/12. And remember, I took 12/12 out, so I've got a whole here. 2 plus 1 will be 3. Next, I'm going to change, oh boy, I have to change both of those. Common denominator, or at least common multiple. In this case, probably going to be 28. Yikes, we're going high on this one, so we have to change both of these. We have not practiced this one in class, sorry. I'm going to call this one optional, but since you didn't know, you just did it. I'm sorry about that. 6 times 4 is 24. I did times 4 for both of those. This one I'm going to do times 7, so I get 7/24. And then if I add them up, 31/28. Kind of a weird number. I'm going to subtract 28 from it, so I take out 28/28, so I get a whole number. And I get 3/28. Alright, remember I took out a whole number. 5 plus 1 is 6, plus another one is 7. 7 and 3/28. I hope I did it right. I'll double check in a minute. This one I'm going to change 3/5 to something over 15. 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 3 is 9, so I get 9/15. And 11 plus 9, let's see, my brain is not working today. I believe that's 20. 20/15. And then I can take out 15/15, which leaves me with 5/15. And remember, I've got that whole one I took out. So 9 plus 3 was 12, plus another one is 13. 13 and 5/15, which really should be reduced to, if we divide them both by 5, we get 13 and 1/3 for an answer. This 1/2, I'm going to call it 5/10 instead, so I've got that common denominator, and I get 12/10. Let's subtract 10/10. That leaves me 2 left over, and I've got that whole right here. So I've got 5 plus 1 is 6, plus 7 is 13. 13 and 2/10, which again, if I divide them both by 2, I can get 13 and 1/5 for a final answer. Moving on over, another one where there's a double one, another optional one. We're going to come up with a common denominator of 20, because they both can be multiplied by something to get to 20. 4 times 5 is 20, 3 times 5 will be 15. 3 times 4 is 20, 4 times 4 will be 16. So we add them up, and we get 31/20. Let's rearrange this, take out a whole number, so 20/20 leaves me a leftover of 11. Keep my denominator 20. Now remember, I took out a whole number over here, so I've got 6 plus 3 plus 1 will be 10. 10 and 11/20. This one, if I multiply it by 3/3, I get 3/9, which gives me that common denominator of 9. And I get 10/9. Let's rearrange it. Take out 9 out of 9 for a whole, and then I get, so I have to remember to add that in a minute, and I get 1 left over 9. 7 plus 7 is 14, plus 1 more is 15. 15 and 1/9. This one, let's change it. We'll double it and make it 12/14, and then when I subtract, I get 7/14, which is the same as half. Oh, did I do that right? What did I do? I didn't do it right. 12 plus 5, I don't know what I'm thinking. 12, 17, 14. I don't know what I was thinking, sorry about that. Let's subtract 14 from it. I'm in a rush, that's what it is. And I get 3/14, but I need to remember to add that 1. 8 and 3/14, and since I'm rushing, I'm very nervous that I'm making mistakes in here, so forgive me if I am. Multiply it by 3/3 like we've been practicing in class, and I get 9/12. 9 plus 5 is 14/12. Let's take out 12 out of 12 for our one whole, and then we are left with 2/12. And we can add our whole number. 8 plus 1 is 9. Now 9 and 2/12, remember, this could be divided both by 2, and then I would get 9 and 1/6 for a final answer. This one I'm going to double. I'm going to make this 14/10. I'm going to multiply them both by 2. That way I can add up and get 16/10. And if I take 10 away, 10 over 10, that will leave me 6/10. And I need to add that 1 that I took out over here. 3 plus 2 plus another 1 leaves me 6 and 6/10, which can be rewritten because I can divide them both by 2 as 3/5. 6 and 3/5 for a final. This one, let's rewrite this as 10/8. We'll double it, multiply them both by 2. Did I do that right? Oh yes, it was an improper fraction to start. It looks a little strange. 10 plus 3 is going to be 13/8, and I can rearrange it, take out 8, and then I get 5/8. And remember, I need to add that 1 down here. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus another 1 is 5. So 5 and 5/8. This one, I'm going to make this 3/6, which is an equivalent fraction. That way, I've got my denominator common with 6. And I've got 8 plus 3, 8, 9, 10, 11, 6. I'm going to take out 6, 6 on this one. So I'm going to subtract 6, and I get 5 after that. 5, 6. I need to remember to add my 1 over here because I took 6, 6 out. 1 plus 1 is 2, so I get a final answer of 2 and 5, 6. This one, oof, I don't like these where I have to change both of them, but we'll work through it. Let's go with a common denominator of 21. 7 times 3 is 21, 4 times 7 is 28, 7 times 3 is 21, 8 times 3 is 24. So let's add our numerators and keep our denominator of 21. And I get 40, 52, I think, if I did that right. 28, 38, 48, 49, 50, yep, 52. I think I can take 2 out of this one, because 21 plus 21 is 42. So I can take 2 out of this one. So let's add 2 over here. And if this is 42, that leaves me 10 left. So I'm going to subtract 42. I just doubled this. 21 plus 21 is 42. And I get 10 left, and I keep my denominator of 21. And then I've got 8 plus 3 plus 2, 11, 12, 13, 13, and 10 21st. All right, thanks for working with me today.